How are we doing, people? Fight night is quickly approaching. We're about 12 days out from Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford, and I just want to take this chance to have a little look at what I believe is Errol Spence's probably one of his greatest strengths, and something that makes his fights and his performances very entertaining. So we're going to jump straight in. We, of course, are looking at Spence's last fight against Yordenis Ugas. It's round 10, the round that the fight ended, which makes this even more impressive. And yeah, we're just going to look at some of what Errol Spence does very well. So if we get this show on the road, we see that Errol Spence is looking to piece up Yordenis Ugas a bit. Using the jab, Errol Spence is a very jab-heavy fighter. He's someone who likes to lead the way a lot with the jab. And we can see that Yordenis Ugas, no slouch, got some good timing, a very sharp counter-puncher himself, looks to counter the jab of Errol Spence. Now, he does line up this pretty good right hand, right uppercut to the body, where we see Errol Spence a bit of a level change, try to get out of the way, then get some distance between them. And we see here, it's Errol Spence, as soon as that back leg plants, he goes straight in with a left. Now, I really like that timing because we can see how Errol Spence gets attacked and Ugas forces him back, and Errol Spence kind of concedes, but oh no, he doesn't, because then he uses that motion to come back forward, and it doesn't look like he gets much on that left hand, but what it does is it brings him closer to Ugas, it threatens Ugas and gets Spence into a position here where he could potentially be able to catch and counter. You see he's very much on the front leg and is able to come off the centre line and block that return from Yordenis Ugas. And what we see here is this is the kind of motion that Spence could have used to catch and counter with the southpaw right hook. But instead, he moves back. Ugas once again showing he's a good fighter and has some good timing. Forces Errol Spence back again, but what does Spence do? He gets back into position, but with a bit more distance, and then goes straight back in with another left hand. This one looks like it's a bit more accurate, and then you can even see the defensive responsibility from Spence, because even though that maybe wasn't the cleanest shot, it lands, and there's no return fire from Ugas, but we can see the defensive responsibility from Spence as he rolls under. And very interestingly, he's landed that left, and then he's rolled to his left side. And what that does is that unloads the right side of Errol Spence's body. So his right hand is now unloaded. It's a lighter, more direct shot that he can use to set up harder shots. And that's what he does. He steps forward with it, disengages the guard of Yordenis Ugas, and then uses that to come around the side and just lands this crunching right hook. And we can see from here, he then bodies up with Ugas, pinning Ugas's gloves to his body. So Ugas is, he is in a high guard position, but he really can't do anything else. He'd have to leave this space, or maybe come around the side to get that space to use his hands. But we can see that Errol Spence uses that physicality, controls him until he's ready to make space, which he then uses to unleash this left uppercut you're about to see here. And this is a bit of a theme and a way that Errol Spence likes to set up his left uppercut, where he'll use some kind of physical control to do so. But let's have another look at that. So he comes back in, bodies up, and we can see that he gets himself where he's in a very advantageous position biomechanically, because he'll come, you see he's pinning, very physical control, pinning Ugas's gloves to his body, neutralizing him essentially. But also he gets underneath Yordenis Ugas, and this is a very strong position because Errol Spence is lowering his center of mass, so he's very stable over his base of support. And notice how easily he's just able to push Ugas off balance, who was slightly squared up but also taller, and his center of mass was higher. And we can just see as that space opens up, lovely left uppercut from Errol Spence here. And we can see him just trudging forward. Once again, he steps into range, uses that same right hand, kind of punctuates it with that right hook round the side. Looks to load up another one. Brings it in again. You can see he's just constantly interfering with Yordenis Ugas. Doesn't give him any rest. And even though these are not hard shots, it's constantly a threat because we've seen how Errol Spence can punch around the side off the back of these. Once again, physical control. Look at the arm. We can see that Errol Spence, he's low to the ground. He's in a good athletic position, very strong, using his right arm to pin the glove of Yordenis Ugas. Left uppercut again. Steps into range. Once again, using that timing as he steps into range. Oh, a bit too far. We get to see it. Same again. Again. Comes into range, bodies up. Gets space for the left uppercut. Steps into range. See, as soon as that back foot touches the ground, he knows he can then project his weight forward through that punch into the left. Uses that to set up the lead hook to the body. Very biomechanically advantageous way to set up body shots is through that backhand, particularly when you want to use the lead hand as a body shot. Follows up with a headshot, and this is just, it's round 10, and Ugas is just getting pieced up. Once again, we see a little bit of Errol Spence getting ready to get into that position to use his lead arm and his lead shoulder, but you can see there's space so he doesn't have to. But what it does is it brings his weight backwards, now loads that left side, and he just rips it once again. And then we can't really see it here, but what Errol Spence does is he follows up with a straight left. So he's doubling up with the same side. He goes left uppercut, and then he just kind of taps, just jabs with that left hand. And again, kind of comes off balance, he's out of position, but we can see bodies up momentarily in an orthodox stance, but he's locked up Yordenis Ugas, so Ugas can't really land any shots of his own. And he comes off at an angle, look, controlling the arms, as Ugas looks to push and make space. Spence out of position makes sure to have his hands in a place where he can control the arms of Ugas. And once again, it's so difficult to get a moment, a break from Errol Spence because he's just constantly in front of you. Kind of out of position here, but we can see it doesn't take him very long to adjust. And he comes back in, straight into a level change, which is already a threat. Uses that little left to just probe, just to hold Ugas in place while he charges up this right hook here. Looks like it misses, but we can see falls in again, just suffocating Ugas. Uses that kind of bull and matador technique of getting the arm round the back to usher Yordenis Ugas's head to where he can once again make space for that left uppercut. The back leg lands on the floor. Good leverage. Boom, just like that. Let's have a look at that again. So you see Errol Spence adjusts, comes in, threatens, body shot, controls, bodies up, ushers Ugas's head. As soon as that left foot's touched the ground and he knows he's stable and he can generate force, boom, just like that. Follows up, chasing Ugas down, straight into range. Not only does he have lead foot dominance, but he's once again using that right hand to occupy Yordenis Ugas's gloves and get him into a position where he can really land those shots and dig them in. Right to the body, right to the head. Controls. Ugas looks to push off, and once again Spence. Yeah, he'll give you a little bit, but as soon as that back foot touches the ground and he has space to land his shots, see, just jab straight away. Now that's not necessarily a hard shot, but it's discouraging because it's just suffocating him. You can't get any room to breathe, and we can see that jab gets Ugas, who I'm sure is in a lot of pain, to just kind of double over. And what does that do? Presents a good target, a fitting target for the left uppercut of Spence. How many times has it been? 3, 4, 5 times he's managed to land that left uppercut flush. And you can see he's just chasing down Ugas, looking to stay in front of Ugas constantly. Kind of walks into range there, just using that rhythm. In. As soon as the front leg touches the ground, boom, good timing. Mixing in that straight shot with the rest of the motion of the body. Just constantly looking to close him down. We can see Ugas understanding that these straight punches, these direct punches, are what are really causing him some issues. So he's looking to engage. But Spence is just, every chance he gets, he's just suffocating Ugas. Okay, not bad there. So what Spence has done is very close bodying up with Ugas as Ugas looks to advance. And now, distance is defense. A lot of great coaches understand that. I actually really love that saying. I think it was Barry Robinson who I first heard that from, who said it concisely. Distance is defense. Or Wilson Cade, and one of these guys. But you can either be too far away to get hit or too close to be hit clean. And we can see that Errol Spence is really controlling the distance quite well, where at this kind of distance, your Dennis Ugas might be able to land, but it wouldn't be with much force. It wouldn't be with much leverage. And what we can see is as soon as that space opens up, good eyes, good understanding from Errol Spence, because he gets that block up right there. So he's someone who clearly understands that what am I in danger of being hit by when I'm at a certain range. And understanding that range, he can then adjust his guard and his defense accordingly. So I hope you like this video. Not necessarily the most comprehensive, but I think it really gets across how Errol Spence, he's just a problem sometimes, because he just suffocates you. And it's not necessarily a high volume of punches, but it's his presence in front of you, where he's controlling you and he's just making space. And as soon as that space is open, boom, he's just hitting you with something and following up and chasing you down. And it's all very consistent. It's all very neat. You know, there's not much, not many frills. It's not very flashy, but it does the job. It's consistent and it's effective. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it made sense. Any questions, leave them down below. Any requests, leave them down below. But that's all for now, folks. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you on the next one.